Catherine, back with part 3 of my reaction to AmberLynn Reid's struggles compared to my struggles. My struggles versus hers. And in the first video, she made me really mad a lot. In the last video, second video, I should say, she mostly frustrated me because she seemed to be repeating herself a lot. It seemed like her complaints were just getting pettier. They were more like gripes than struggles. One gripe being that she can't buy her favorite black stretch pants at Walmart. I accidentally cut that part out because I forgot I referenced it later. She complains about her dogs tearing holes in all the black pants she has now, and she can't find any more at the store or on Walmart.com. And that's where I say, well, there's so many different stores that cater to overweight women that I'm sure have a web presence. And there's probably many more that I don't even know about. But of course, there's Just My Size, Woman Within, Romans, Lane Bryant, The Avenue. Those are the ones right off the top of my head. And I'm sure at least one of those has to have black stretch pants. Of course, she complained also that she'd like to wear jeans. Well, again, I can always find jeans at the Avenue, even though I had a 50 some odd inch waist. Again, I've got this big belly. It just has always driven me nuts. But anyway, those are my gripes. Not really struggles. See, struggles that she needs to address and doesn't are the fact that she can't breathe, she can't walk, everything hurts, she can't go outside anymore hardly. She's just about bedbound, it seems, in her latest video with Becky that came out either earlier today or yesterday. It's all filmed in her bed, so she says she's still under 560. She still says she's not bedbound, but the camera does not lie. However, AmberLynn has been known to. That's probably a video for another day, or just look up AmberLynn lie compilations. Look out AmberLynn rape accusation compilations. And you see why I have no pity for this girl. Even when she says she's trying, she's lying. And she's dying. And it's hard when you compare our situations because, you know, at this point, maybe hers isn't fixable. Even with inpatient, in-house treatment. Maybe she's got congestive heart failure. Maybe she's got kidney failure. Maybe she does need something amputated, and she's going to put it off until she gets too sick to do anything about it. Maybe I'm speculating. I am not her doctor. All I can do is speculate based on the speculations of other YouTubers and what I see and what I have seen and what I have experienced myself. So anyway, let's just get to this. Here's part 3, My Struggles by Ms. AmberLynn Reid.
So this is part 3. I feel like these are a little bit more embarrassing to me. You guys might not think so, but let's just do this. So number 1 for this part 3 is stares in public. I feel like lately I have been getting a lot of stares.
I honestly thought at first that she would meant stairs as in stairways, steps, because those have been a struggle for me for my entire life. I mean, when I was little, I was acrophobic. as hell. I'm the kind of person who would climb up a staircase and then get stuck because looking down would just make me feel dizzy, and either an adult would have to come and let me hold on to them or carry me down or something, or I'd have to sit on my butt and scooch down the stairs. Even as an adult, I would do that. I mean, stairs. But then, of course, when the foot drop started, again, this is back in probably 1994, I think it was, when I had that file clerk job and being on my feet 8 hours a day, running files all over the Labor and Industries building downtown Salem. Man alive, yeah. That was a lot of exercise. I lost a lot of weight. I felt stronger at first. Then the foot job started, and stairs gradually became an impossibility. Literally, just an impossibility. And at my permanent job, when I finally got one with the Workers' Compensation Board, they actually got a contraption. I can't even remember what it was called, but it was for disabled people. If there was a fire or the fire alarm went off, I would go to the stairwell with one of my designated watchers like Nancy. Hi Nancy, I hope you're watching because I know you subscribe. And we would have this thing that, you know, if there were a real fire and they had to get me down the stairs, they'd put me on it. It would, I don't know, it had a track or something so that it would go, you know, I don't want to say it rolled down the stairs or crawled. I don't think I ever had the guts to get in it myself. Nancy did, to try it out. But I figured it would be one of those things that would be such an imposition for me that I would, for me personally, that it's like, I'm not getting in unless I have to. Because there better be firefighters here to get me out of it. And once we get to the bottom of the stairs, I don't want to be stuck in it. Closing point, oh yes, stairs. So she means S-T-A-R-E-S, stairs in public. Well, I kind of feel like that was sort of covered earlier. I know I cut off part of when her line about benches in booths in restaurants, where she talked about how she, you know, if she could sit in a booth, if it was in the end booth, because then she could scooch it back, but then it would make a scraping sound on the floor and people turn and stare. She also talked about waddling when she walked, and people stared at that. So yeah, this is more filler, I feel. It's like she's done the stairs. Stairs is part and parcel with her previous complaints, so it's hard. You don't think I get stared at in this contraption? You know, wheelchair and the van, the whole 9 yards. And of course I got stared at when I walked funny, when I had a cane, before I had the AFOs and my feet flopped around because the foot dropped, and after I got the AFOs, people really commented on the AFOs, which if you don't remember is ankle foot orthotics, because my second pair that I got, I had, you know, they mold them to your leg. It's like getting fitted for a cast almost. I mean, yeah, they make a cast of your leg and molds to the cast, and it can just be plain white, which is what my first pair were, which was boring. But when I needed a second pair, a new pair, I had butterflies put on them, and I got a lot of stares and comments on the butterflies on my legs. So I guess you could say they're good stares and bad stares, and but when you're self-conscious, you know, they all kind of feel like bad stares. I get it. But I consider it a struggle. I don't know. It's not what's keeping me home. I mean, again, that's mostly to do with the ventilator. It does have backup batteries, so I can go to doctor's offices, but those don't affect the humidifier. So the humidifier would need its own set of backup batteries and its own shelving unit or whatever on the back of my wheelchair, and they just can't really do all of that. And the humidifier is extremely important because it warms the air, warms and moistens the air when I inhale it, because normally your own body would do that. Your nose, your upper respiratory tract would do that, and the air is so dry and cold without the humidifier that I just can't stand to be away from it for super long periods of time. Even just going, into Salem and back for a doctor appointment, probably a 2 or 3 hour round trip, depending on if I gotta get labs and all that kind of crap. That's uncomfortable. Even longer trips up to OHSU for appointments to do with my eyes at the KCI clinic, or for neuromuscular issues, the muscular dystrophy basically. I have to go to the neurology clinic and their neuromuscular section. Those trips take many hours, and I am tired, cold. When you're breathing in cold air, it just makes your whole body cold. So yeah, going out and being stared at is the least of my troubles. And of course, with the wheelchair, stairs, STAIRS, are a struggle as well. I have to look for curb cuts. Otherwise, I can't really go to people's houses. I could go visit my sister, but she's almost 30 minutes away, and again, we run into the humidifier problem. I haven't been to her house in 10.5 years, even though it's fully wheelchair accessible, because she too has the MD. We both inherited it from our father. So, stairs and stairs. The STAIRS stairs are a much bigger struggle than just people looking at me.
So number 2 is movie theater seats. So I can't go to a movie theater unless the arms go up, and I don't take up 2 seats. I know that's like a big misconception, but
oh, child. Before I had the tracheostomy and the ventilator, when I went to movie theaters, the only places I could sit were rows that had a seat or two by the aisle removed and a handicapped symbol like they used in parking lots pasted or painted on the floor, which usually meant the back of the theater, or maybe a few rows down. When they built I think it's the Santiam 13 theater in Salem, it was like the most modern theater, in Marion County anyway, and more modern than anything here in Polk County. One of the amazing luxurious things about it was that down close to the front were spaces in between seats for wheelchairs, so we didn't have to be stuck all the way in the back, or we didn't have to be stuck right on the aisle. And then there'd be like maybe 2 seats next to each other in another space, and so on. The only thing is, of course, here's our quote-unquote struggle that we had, was that people would want to sit in those 2 seats by themselves with a space on either side, even though they weren't with someone in a wheelchair. And so, because they just, how people are. They don't want to have to share armrests. They don't want to be squished up against a fat person or a smelly person or just another person. They don't have to, worry about someone picking their pocket or just spilling food or drink on them. All that crap that can happen at a theater. So they would just go and take those seats with, which, to me, is like someone who takes a handicap parking spot saying, I'll just be in the store for 5 minutes. I'm not hurting anyone. Or does something even crazier, like parks in the stripy zone between 2 handicap parking spots, which I have seen more than once, and they don't get that. The stripy zone is so that, say, a person like me in a van with a lift or a ramp can then have space to open the side door and lower that lift or ramp and get the heck out of the van. It's just like the thoughtlessness. People don't think, why are there 2 seats here by themselves? I guess they must be for people like me. Well, actually, no, sweetie. But for people like me and my partner, or friend, or caregiver, or whoever comes with. So there were times when I've disabled shamed people out of moving their car out of stripy zones, and I've disabled shamed people into moving their butts out of those 2 seats, because I'll go down there and I'll get in the empty spot, and then there'll be strangers on either side of me, and I'd say to my husband and or friend and or caregiver, whoever's with me, it's like, well, I don't know where you guys are gonna sit, because the spots next to the handicap spot are taken. And, that embarrassed people into getting up and moving. But, yeah, Amber, you just keep telling yourself you don't take up 2 seats, but you still need the armrest to go up. I fully grok that you don't want an armrest digging into your side the whole time while you're trying to watch the movie, with your fat squishing under it and over it, because I've been stuck in chairs with arms that were too small for me before too, and it's uncomfortable. But let's face it, if that's happening, so you want the armrest to go up so that there's room for your entire body, you need 2 seats. You may not fill the entire second seat, but you are using 2 seats. You need 2 seats. Get that through your head. You need 2 seats. Let's see, what's complaint number 3? Since we haven't got to a real struggle yet. Like you're breathing or you're walking. Those are struggles. The fact that you might be dying. I watch these other YouTubers who can look at you and see different discolorations and skin tags and things around your eyes. They can see discolorations on your knuckles. And they can see these, things that mean that you're not getting the circulation that you need, that you might have congestive heart failure, that you definitely have sleep apnea. I'm not that versed in any kind of medicine, of course. Before we get on to struggle number 3, let's have a little story time. My mom would have turned 74. My mom would have turned 74 last week. The 20th was her birthday. And just before her birthday, like a couple of weeks, she came over and she said that she was diagnosed with kidney failure. Now, she had never been diagnosed with diabetes, even though she herself was morbidly obese. And instead of doing something right away, she said the doctors first wanted to see if they could do something about the kidney disease by just changing her diet and putting her on new medication. And they would give that time to work. And then if that didn't work, they were going to put her on dialysis. And if that didn't work, then they were going to put her on the list for a kidney transplant. The last time I ever saw my mom alive was that last birthday, February 20th, 2011. And in March she was dead. Just like that. I mean, she was still up and working and taking care of herself right up to the moment she died. And it was one of those cases where she had missed a day or maybe 2 of work, which wasn't like her, to miss work without calling in. So the office, she was working for the Department of Revenue there in Salem. So her office called my sister, who's her emergency contact, and my sister just knew right away it was something bad. And she was not going over there to, I mean, So she called, the authorities to do a wellness check, and they found her dead in her bed. The only good thing I just wanted to cry. I want to cry. I want to scream. The only good thing they said was that the covers did not look disturbed, which is an indication she died peacefully. This is the video, if any of mine, that someone should send to AmberLynn. Is this how you want to go? Do you Do you want your kidneys to fail because they can't handle the sugar and the crap that you eat? You want to die peacefully in your sleep next to Becky? You want Becky? Forget the fact you'd be leaving Becky alone. You want to die in bed next to her. Let her wake up to your cold corpse. I mean, my God, girl. Wake the hell up. Wake up now while you still can. This is something I struggle with every day since my mom has been gone. I want her. I need her still so bad. You want to do this to Becky? You want to do this to anyone else who cares about you? Ignoring whatever bad news you got from your doctor will not make it better. Will not make it go away. Everyone knows you must have got some bad news from your doctor that you're not telling us. I mean, she told you have sleep apnea, which right there you said scares you so bad because you could die in your sleep of a heart attack or a stroke because of it. Have you done anything about it? Did you join the doctor's weight loss club she invited you to join for free with all the other doctors in the office? Did you get a BiPAP machine? I mean, or pardon me, the CPAP is what you need. Do you have a CPAP? Do you sleep with a mask? Have you taken off any weight? I think you're becoming more reclusive, not because it's harder for you to go out physically, but because I think it feels to me like you're preparing to die. You're just ready. You're gonna be there in your bed, or in your bedroom, in your relative privacy. You watch movies with Becky. I don't know of what interactions you have with Eric and Ricky anymore. Unless they just cook food and bring it to you, but you know, I just feel like you're laying down and giving up. That's so sad. Even if you're a lying, manipulative, abusive bitch. You can't redeem yourself if you're dead. You can't improve your life once your life is over. You can't forge a new legacy. Okay. So what's your next struggle, girl? What's struggle number 3 gonna be?
Number 3, which you guys know this, is seatbelts don't really fit me. In newer cars, I noticed that they're actually making seatbelts bigger. So they do fit me then, but like in the car that I have now, the seatbelt doesn't fit me. In literally 90, probably 5% of cars, seatbelts don't fit me.
Well, lose some weight. I mean, you are such a big girl. If you did only eat 2,000 calories, 1,700 calories a day, Even 2,500 calories, I get the feeling you would probably lose weight. Stop doing mukbangs. No more mukbangs. Ever. If you're gonna have fast food, make it a once a week or once a month treat. If you're gonna go to Lexington for your orange chicken, make it a once a month treat. Don't let people go out and bring that stuff to you. Eat at home. Or, and I know this is a radical idea, no one else on the internet has ever brought this up. You yourself have never brought this up. It's never come up once ever. Or, brace yourself. Get off your lazy ass and get a seat belt extender. They're out there. You can get one. If you're too embarrassed, send poor Becky to get it for you. You will think it's for her or something. But whatever. Get it. There's no reason why you haven't. I mean, imagine if you got into a real wreck. Most people get hurt in wrecks because they are flying around in the car without a seatbelt to protect them from banging into the interior of the car, from falling out of the car if the door opens. Yes, some snarky troll can insert some kind of, insert that sound clip of beanbags in a hurry at the idea of you rolling out of a moving vehicle that might also be rolling in your direction, about to squish you. That's not funny. The safest place to be in a wreck is inside the car. Seatbelts. And just because you managed to make it all these years without ever getting seriously hurt in a wreck doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, that it couldn't ever happen or wouldn't ever happen. This is the easiest probably thing to solve on the whole list. Just seatbelt extender. They're out there. You can probably get one off of Amazon if you don't want to go out and buy one. Just buy one already.
So this brings me to number 4. I have a huge bruise on the side of my leg. Why, you may ask? Well, since the seatbelt doesn't fit me, the seatbelt buckle is always sticking up, and my thighs are so big and my hips are so big that every time I'm in the car, I'm actually sitting on the seatbelt buckle. It is rather painful, and I have an everlasting bruise that is on my leg. And
Child. Well, you know what? I have noticed in general that obese people are prone to bruising easily anyway. As mentioned in that last video, there's that weird mark on your arm that a lot of other YouTubers bring up too, that's all weird and yellow and discolored. Is it just a bruise? Is it a cat scratch? Is it some kind of necrosis setting in from lack of blood flow to your arm? I don't know, but it's worrying. And so, if you got the seatbelt extender, I'll almost guarantee you, since you're so big, that probably the whole plastic buckle mechanism probably still dig into your leg and give you a bruise. But I'm surprised you don't have more bruises that you're embarrassed about, caused by things like running into walls, because you waddle and wobble when you walk. running into doorways, things like that. You know, stuff that even I would do at 250 pounds or 225 pounds because of my own obnoxious walk. You know, I get pinched and bruised by things like my Hoyer lift, the bars that come down to hook on to the sling that I sit on. I get hurt by the sling itself, digging into me. My caregivers have to wash and put ointments on my legs to make sure I don't get sores, pressure sores or bed sores or whatever, from sitting in the same position all day, every day when I'm in the wheelchair. And then, of course, when I do get a pressure sore, bed sore, then, you know, that needs to be tended to make sure it doesn't start tunneling and become necrotic and all that stuff. You know, things that, if you had watched the video that Christina Blackfeather had tried to show you, you know, what can happen to pressure sores and bed sores when left untreated. And if your seatbelt mechanism thing, that can become a constant source of, I mean, you don't go out in the car that much anymore, I gather, but it were a constant source of pressure on your leg. You could develop more than just a bruise. You could develop a welt. That welt could open up. It could bleed. It could become infected. It could start tunneling down to your hip bone or your femur. You have to watch your skin, girl. You can't just write off bruises as minor inconveniences. And if you are becoming housebound, look into getting a home health care nurse who can come out and help Becky, teach Becky, you know, how to look over your body for any kind of suspicious sores. You know, the difference between, say, a zit and a welt that can open up and become infected. Hell, even a zit can open up and become infected. You probably have to deal with the boils. I wonder about that, because I know, well, I've had to deal with boils since puberty set in. My dad always had them. I think it's a chronic staph thing that I either inherited some sensitivity to staph or just caught it somehow, maybe from doing all the laundry. I don't know. But yeah, boils like warm, moist places. They like hair follicles. They like the places that you can't reach on your own to wash, like or wash completely, like under your breasts, under your arms, in your groin. If you haven't had to deal with boils, I would be very, very surprised. You've got a lot. At your size, you've got a lot more struggles to worry about than going to a movie and having an uncomfortable experience because the seat won't go up. Going to a restaurant, having an uncomfortable experience because they want to put you in a booth. You've got your skin, your heart, your kidneys, your lungs, your liver, your eyes, your brain, your arteries, your feet, your toes. You've got so much that needs to be worried about, looked after, monitored. You need to eat healthier. You need to make sure water and oxygen get to these parts of your body. You need to see the doctor more often, and you need to make sure that you You don't just make what you think are funny jokes like, oh, I'm breathing hard because I have asthma. Ha ha, I'm breathing hard because I have sleep apnea. Ha ha, oh wait, I do have sleep apnea. Oh, well, bummer. You know, stupid things like that. You need to get serious, girl. I know this is a slightly older video. Your condition now is so much worse than it is just here in these videos. If you were at the 11th hour in these videos, you're probably at about the 11th hour and the 59th second. And I really don't want to log on one day and see reaction videos reacting to the death announcement of AmberLynn Reid. I can already tell you what 99% of them will say though. We didn't want to see you die, but we knew you were going to. You've quit every diet you've tried. Now it just seems like you're quitting life. But what's the next struggle? What's the next struggle?
Number 5 is like, it is really hard for me to bend down and tie my shoes and put on socks. So I have found a way that works for me. I will sit on the couch or I'll sit on my bed and I'll do one, this is funny, I'll do one foot at a time and I'll kind of like turn and then put my leg up and then, you know, I'm able to do it like that. But it's like, I can't do it like normal people. I can't.
When I was still working, my mom drove me to work. I ended up carpooling with her after it wasn't safe for me to drive on my own anymore, since we both worked in Salem, even though she worked downtown, and this time I was working out in southeast Salem. She still took the time to drive me to work, even though it made her late for work all the time, because I was late for work all the time because I was tired. It was hard for me to get out of bed at a normal time. I was always getting written up, it seems like, for being late. I almost didn't get the job because during the 6-month probation period, I was late. They extended it to a 7-month probation period. But I was tired. Even when Joel was working in a manufacturing job and had to work 12 hours a day and made sure he and I were both in bed by like 9 or 10 o'clock at night because he had to get up at 5 in the morning or whatever. I don't remember all the hours. I remember being frustrated and having to go to bed, quote unquote, early. You know, to me that was like being in school again. Having to go to bed at 8 or 9 to get up to go to school. And I wanted to stay and watch Law and Order, and I wanted to be a grown-up. But I didn't want an early bedtime, but whatever. I was still tired, and Joel would come home from work. He would, I can't remember what time he had to be at work. It was like 5:30 or 6. I don't remember. It's a long time ago. But he'd take his lunch hour around 7:30 in the morning to help me, because that'd be about the time I'd be getting out of the shower, so he could help me get dressed, including putting on shoes and socks and the rest of my clothing. And my mom would help too. And there were days when I missed work because I would have a fall in that short period that I would be home alone. There was one time, this is so dumb, but my cat knocked a bottle of my husband's hair gel, this was the 90s, onto the floor and it broke. And I didn't notice because the hair gel was blue and the tile in the bathroom at that time, or the linoleum, I should say, whatever, was a bluish green, and I did not see it, and I slipped and fell, could not get up. So I had to wait for Joel to come home when he would normally come home to help me get dressed. Instead, he had tried to get me up off the floor, and we even had a chair in the bathroom, an old kitchen type chair. You know, using that and him, we could not get me off the floor. And then my mom came to pick me up for work. And so the two of them together could not get me up off the floor. We had to call 911. That was like one of 3 times that I fell, and we had to call 911. And after being on the floor and in pain, and then having people pulling and pushing and struggling, you know, grabbing my arms and shoulders, trying to lift me up, all that pain, all that agony, and then finally, you know, the EMTs, they would come in with their professional know-how on how to lift people, and they would get me into bed, and then I would just say, I can't go to work after this. I'm sorry. I'm too hurt. I'm too tired. I'm too sore. I can't now just go in and put in 8 hours of work. The other times I fell, and we need to call EMTs. One again was I was still working, but I think I got up early because I had to pee or something. I don't know. I just fell right inside the bedroom by my bed, and again, you know, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back on her feet again, so we had to call the EMTs, and I called into work and said I couldn't make it. The third and last time we called EMTs just for a simple fall was after I was retired, and it was my own stupid fault because I could still walk a little bit, and you know, instead of driving my wheelchair into the bedroom and then, you know, leaving it there, and so I don't think it would really fit in the bathroom. I can't remember what the deal was, but you know, just say, or maybe it did fit in the bathroom, I don't remember. But instead of taking the wheelchair with me, so all I would have to do is transfer myself, I decided to try and walk from the living room through the master bedroom to the bathroom, and I fell before I even got to the bedroom. Fell right there in the living room, a few steps from the wheelchair. So again, we had to call the EMTs. That was the last time I tried to walk unassisted. That was before the trach. We did try, while I was still in the hospital, to keep transferring me the way we were doing, to see if we keep my leg muscles strong enough that I wouldn't be completely wheelchair bound. But the problem was with all these hoses hanging down, and these hoses they're in pieces. It's a circuit, and they have all these different places where they come apart, besides just right here at my throat. So you know, when we tried practicing transferring me, it would always be that we'd pull on the hoses and they'd come apart or they'd come off. They were just in the way. So, you know, the only way we could transfer me is with a Hoyer lift and a sling. But, yeah, we got the medic alert bracelet here so that just in case something happens.
Number 6 is if I am, you know, in the living room or I'm in my bedroom, I always have to have a blanket on me. It's come to the point where even when I go to Becky's family's house, I have a blanket on me. They have, like, you know, regular living room blankets, and they let me use that. And it's an insecurity thing. Blankets make me feel more secure. I feel like, you know, without one, I am showing all my goods, all my rolls, and it's like, I feel like people are judging me.
Blankets are nice. It's nice to be covered with blankets. I probably should be covered with blankets more myself. Not because of insecurity, but because of my poor circulation. I am constantly freezing. And of course, my husband and his mom and most of my caregivers are the kind of people that are constantly hot. I've got more than one caregiver that's in menopause and will go, oh my god, I'm having a hot flash. I'm so hot. Meanwhile, you know, the thermostat's turned down. It's snowing outside. I'm freezing. How do you get a blanket? I got an electric blanket for Valentine's Day this year, and it has been a lifesaver. And so I think one of the reasons why I was having problems waking up with my blood sugar in the 70s and 60s and lower even was because even though it might be in the 200s at midnight or 11:30 when we last tested before bed, I would stay up later and the house would be so cold and I would be so cold, and then I would get into my cold bed. You know, my bedroom would be even colder because Joel usually sleeps uncovered with the AC on even when it's snowing outside. And I would wake up, you know, a few hours later, 9 a.m. from my meds, or maybe 8 or 7 a.m. because I'm feeling sick from low blood sugar. And yeah, my blood sugar would be super low. And I think it's because I was using up energy trying to get warm. And sometimes even then I still wouldn't be warm, you know. From the knees down I would still be freezing cold. And I'd get like a hot water bottle for my feet. I'd get a caregiver to do that. I did have a caregiver do that for me once. So just pile extra blankets on my legs and feet. But now that I've got the electric blanket, that's not been an issue because I go to bed and I'm just instantly toasty warm. It's really super nice. So I don't know, is AmberLynn covering up with blankets because she's embarrassed? Because to me, laying on someone's couch, you know, being a big blob and saying, oh, can I have a blanket? That would just make you into a big blanket blob. A beanbag blob even. So, sorry, beanbags are kind of a meme when it comes to AmberLynn, I guess. But, maybe she really needs her for warmth because she's got bad circulation. And maybe that is why she wears cardigans all the time. It isn't just to hide her arms, because you see here she's wearing what it appears to me to be some kind of sweatshirt that probably has longer sleeves. You know, she's not wearing a cardigan over that, so maybe it is a coldness thing. Because she likes to order all these tank tops and tops with spaghetti straps from Torrid. And then she says, oh, you can see my arms. It's so embarrassing. I better grab a cardigan. Probably her arms are freezing. But anyway. Having them put blankets on yourself because you're embarrassed is not a struggle. There's not even a reason to be embarrassed. I mean, we've seen Becky, okay? Even when she was thinner, when she started dating you, she was still a pretty big girl. So, I mean, I'm just guessing her family's probably pretty big too, and you're probably just either cold or you're making a mountain out of a molehill. You're making a blanket mountain out of, yeah, anyway. Let's move on. you know what she should do? She should get a Snuggie. And even make like Snuggie hoodies. Or whatever the hell they're called. She should just wear that all the time. If she's afraid. If she wants blankets to hide her fat rolls and stuff, you know. Then she'd never have to ask anyone for a blanket. She would, you know, get a... Yeah, slanket is what they're called, isn't it? Because they're sleeved, the blanket. There you go, your arms be hidden too, by the sleeves. Yeah, get yourself a Snuggie or a Slanket off-brand. Just, you know, thumbs up.
Number 7 is when I am in public, I don't like using public restrooms, but if I have to, bathroom stalls are so annoying to me because for me, being this size, they're super small. So I have to always use the bigger stall, and I usually always wait for the bigger stall to be open. So I'll be like almost peeing my pants, but if the bigger stall is taken, I will not use a smaller stall.
Ma'am. No, ma'am. No. Dad. I mean, okay. At 5'2" or 3 to 4, it seems to change. Maybe your spine compresses and decompresses or something. I don't know. But, no. Even at 5'2", at now probably pushing 600 pounds, because I think we've all noticed that you've not done a weigh-in since you quit Octavia and become a hermit. So, you know, you did lose some weight on Octavia. You got down from your 560 to what, 550, 552, whatever. I'm sure that weight is all back, plus some by now, because you've not done any of the weekly weigh-ins you keep promising. So, yes, okay, maybe technically you are handicapped, but as a person in a wheelchair, or even when I had a cane and still relied on a higher toilet and the handrails, there's nothing more frustrating than sitting there waiting to use that stall, even if the little stalls were empty, because other people, not even overweight people, not even people with hidden disabilities, because some of them were people I knew, and I knew they weren't disabled, they just liked the comfort of having more room and having a higher toilet and, I don't know, having handrails for some reason. I don't know. But still, to sit there or stand there and wait and almost pee myself or poop myself because someone else just felt entitled to using that stall, that pissed me off. And again, since your quote-unquote disability is your weight, I just don't see an excuse. Yes, the little stalls are uncomfortable when you're bigger, but okay, I know people who have received an injury that then caused them to become bigger, so they had to use the bigger stall. You know, my mother-in-law has fibromyalgia, and she has at least one torn rotator cuff, maybe two, I forget. She's got her knees, her hip, her back, you know, all these problems. Fibromyalgia is supposed to be like the root of it, more or less like the muscular dystrophy is the root of a lot of my problems. So, you know, okay. She walks with a crutch. She could need to use the bigger stall. But you So far as I know, you got your hip bursitis and your slipped bulging disc that swells up, that both of which kind of make me look at you sort of sideways, because they still don't sound like they were diagnosed by a real doctor. I mean, chiropractors aren't even technically allowed to call themselves doctors. I don't think I can Google that while I am talking. But anyway, you don't have disabilities. Okay. I feel like I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth, because I can talk about your problems with your breathing, your problems with your sleep apnea, your problems with this, your problems with that. Those are your real struggles that you need to be taken care of. Yeah.
Doctor of Chiropractic. Dr. Ho's belt. Dr. Ho is a doctor of chiropractic. Google that.
So yes, those are struggles, but a lot of those are struggles that could probably be handled by taking off a lot of your weight. So again, besides there are a lot of things on Reddit is a bullshit chiropractic. Chiropractors are pseudo-scientific BS. Are chiropractors legit? Are chiropractors actually a scam? I am a chiropractor. Is chiropractic medicine bullshit? Even a chiropractor wants to know it's bullshit? Why do chiropractors seem to get results, even though they are ... I just want to know that. I'm gonna like Rick with hit. Okay, Reddit is fine, but I'd rather like go to Wikipedia. Whatever. Anyway, I'm still working on that, but I've already forgotten where it's going. Oh yeah, the whole restroom thing. I don't have a choice. A lot of people with crutches and canes, little old ladies, people with invisible disabilities like fibromyalgia, people with wheelchairs who need the handrails to transfer and the extra space for their chair. You know, they've all got to sit there and wait because of you. Because a little stall's uncomfortable. And you know what? I have peed myself coming home from, like, the Lord of the Rings, one of the Lord of the Rings movies. I admit it, I wet myself in the car because there were too many people in the restroom and I couldn't even get into the handicap stall. Even though I clearly needed to use it and it alone. It was so crowded that, you know, it was first come, first serve. Who cares about your handicap? So, but I think at work it really kind of stung the most because all of my caregivers, all of my coworkers knew I was disabled, and yet, you know, they still do it, and they would still, you know, kind of give me the sorry smile and, you know, head duck and run to wash their hands and whatever. I mean, it was very frustrating to me. Very frustrating. Chiropractors do not hold medical degrees, so they aren't medical doctors. They do have extensive training in chiropractic care and are licensed practitioners, regardless of speciality. All chiropractors must obtain a license to practice. So they don't hold medical degrees, they just have a license to crack backs. So I would not take a diagnosis of a slipped/bulged disc from a chiropractor. I'm sorry. I mean, they might say, okay, I feel there's like something here in your lower back that I am not able to handle because this will require extensive physical therapy or surgery, neither of which I can perform because I am not a doctor, you know. I would take that kind of advice maybe from a chiropractor, but I wouldn't just say, I've got X, Y, Z and run with it. No way. They're not real doctors. And you don't belong unless you just really are disabled by your weight. And the only way you can stand up off a toilet is by holding on to handrails and having an extra high toilet. You do not. Your butt does not belong in a handicapped stall. You're the one that mukbanged your weighing 200 pounds in 2 years. Deal with the consequences and use a regular stall. This is an issue that just always gotten into my skin from the time I started to need those stalls, and they weren't always available because someone else wanted to be comfortable. It wasn't a necessity, it was just a luxury. So for those of us that it was a necessity, it's just super annoying and sometimes super painful and embarrassing. What have you done? You've got me calling everything super. I don't remember using that word so much before. Hi, Gingy. Come here, kitty kitty. Now she wants her daddy. Kitty kitty, you want to be on camera? You want to be famous? Ginger. Oh well. Maybe another day.
Number 8 is I always have constant fear that I'm going to break furniture. There has been times where I literally won't sit on, you know, a piece of furniture because I'm afraid that I'm going to break furniture. A little backstory, I've only broken a couple things in my life, but it's always like for good reason. Does that make sense?
Now, isn't this a repeat? I mean, number 1 in part 2 was you're afraid of breaking furniture, and now you're just wait. This is definitely filler and a repeat. Do you even listen to yourself? Did you actually write these lists out and compare them ahead of time? Because number 1 was definitely, I'm afraid to go to a restaurant because I'm afraid I'll break the booth. Or I'll break the chair. I'm afraid if I go to someone else's house, I'll break their chair. What's the difference here? You're afraid of breaking your own furniture? And yes, I have seen the clips where you were filming yourself when you sat down on someone else's couch or in a booth and you broke it. So that's a legit fear. Again, it's something within your control. I mean, damn, girl. Oh, a little backstory. She's only broken a couple of things in her life. Well, I think that's a couple of pieces of furniture more than I ever broke when I was at my heaviest. Heavens to Murgatroyd. I mean, heavens to Murgatroyd. No! That does not make sense. How can you break furniture for good reason? Was it at, like, your enemy's house? You know, like, say, after Destiny dumped you? Did you get back at her by going to her parents' house and sitting on one of their antique rocking chairs and breaking it? Or something? I mean, how do you break furniture for good reason? Did the chair insult you for being fat, so you had to sit on it and break it? Was that the reason? You're so stupid. I guess that's another thing I find contemptible about you. I mean, listen to your pronunciations. I know I slur my words because the muscular dystrophy affects the muscles of my face, my lips, my tongue. So I slur my words. A lot of people don't understand what I say. When I rewatch my own videos, sometimes I go, what the hell did I just say there? Oh, back to AmberLynn. I don't even want to know what her good reason for breaking furniture was.
If I walk on like wooded stairs or like a porch that's wooded, I am terrified that I'm gonna fall through the floor and I'm gonna break the wood.
I think I started to bring this up earlier. Her use of language is so unique. She is a stupid girl. I don't know. She didn't have a great childhood. She probably didn't have a great education, and she even talks about how she, smoked pot in school and all this stuff, although she's flip-flopped on whether or not she's done drugs or approves of drugs or this or that. Now she makes it sound like, oh, drugs, no, bad. My parents were druggies. I never touched drugs. And then she says, well, what if pot was legal here in Kentucky? So I'm just worried about breaking the law. If it was legal, I'd probably do it, but it's not. So I won't, but yeah, I was high constantly in school. Whatever. It was illegal then. But she, like what she just said here, wooded stairs. You know what wooded stairs would be? They'd be stairs with woods in them. They would be stairs with a forest growing out of them. And her hip bursitis, I'm sure she means a bursitis. And she's always in excruciating pain. She is in excruciating pain. She is not in excruciating pain. You hear her say that, right? You've heard that. I mean, like I was saying, I slur my words because of my disability. But, she does not English good.
So number 9 is a little bit deeper. It's disliking myself purely because of how I look.
Okay. I'm with you there, girlfriend. I'm with you there. I don't know. I mean, you think, your childhood traumas, the way kids picked on you in elementary school, middle school, high school, just the comments you get on the street, the remarks people make about your pictures that you post, just, you'd think, you'd learn to outgrow it, but yeah, I don't like myself because of the way I look. I never really have. I think my sister's beautiful. You know what? My sister and I look so much alike, but I'm like the fat, double-chinned, giant-bellied, only half of my face working, look like I had a stroke version. There are so many people right now that I wish I could call out by name, or just how they always made me feel, how I never wanted to have to be around them. One of them was several years older than me, which always just baffled me and made me afraid of, the quote-unquote big kids. It made me afraid of adults. Hell, one of my worst bullies was a teacher. I used to like make the honor roll and stuff up until he was my teacher, and then I became a C, D, F, barely graduating by the skin of my teeth student, because he taught me a hard lesson. The teachers aren't always your friends. That they can be right bastards. And so I got scared of them. That's stupid.
And I'm not one of those people who like to, you know, honk my horn or whatever, but I know I have a big heart. I'm very empathetic. I'm a good person. I give when I can, and I know these things. I'm very kind, warm-hearted, you know, da-da-da-da-da. Here I go, honking my horn. But it's...
Ew. When you accuse Casey of physically and sexually abusing you while you lived with him and his mom, were you being empathetic and warm and caring and giving then? Especially when Casey came right back and said, no, all the stuff she describes me doing to her in that video, that's exactly what she was doing to me. You are such a piece of trash human being.
Number 10. This is the last struggle that I will be talking about. Can we believe it? So, number 10 is, this is embarrassing for me. So we have a walk-in shower. The walk-in shower has, you know, okay. So there's two clear doors that are like this, and they'll close like that. Okay. So this little space, once I open the door and move it over, there's this little space that you walk into the shower. This makes me want to cry. I have gotten stuck before. It hurts to get in the shower because it's such a small space that I have to walk into. To the average person, it's probably, you know, perfectly fine. It is a pretty small space, but it's hard for me. It scrapes my stomach when I get in. I have to, you know, suck in as hard as possible, but sometimes that doesn't even work. I'm able to get in, but it just hurts really bad because I'm literally like scraping myself. And to me, that's one of the biggest struggles because, you know, showering every day, that's something I deal with every day. And it's something that I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that there's gonna be one time where I break the door, where the glass literally just shatters because I'm too fat, or I'm afraid that I'm going to get like extremely stuck, or an ambulance is gonna have to come or something.
Okay. I ran that one because I wanted to get to the ambulance part. You know what, yeah, like I said, I've had to have ambulances and fire trucks because they always have to, an engine for some reason always has to come out with the ambulance. I guess to make sure they have the most DMPs possible, but yeah, I mean, all three of those halls I described, I was wearing nothing but a nightgown. And that was embarrassing. You know what? Embarrassing things happen when you get picked up by ambulances and then you get taken to hospitals. You will be stripped naked. You will have people touching you in places you'd rather not be touched. You'll have people monitoring your pooping and peeing to make sure that your kidneys and digestion are working, you know? That's what happens when you end up in the hospital. So this is life when you're big, and when you are incapacitated, it's very hard and it's very embarrassing. My mother-in-law almost died of the flu last year because she was embarrassed to have, the EMTs come and help her, even though she was dangerously dehydrated and stuff. And then when she did come, she refused to go with them because she was like delirious. So then later she blamed them for not taking her anyway, but I mean, I don't think by law they can forcibly remove a person from their house if they say, no, I don't want to go, unless that person has a history of mental illness or something. So, it's a complicated issue, and all I can really say is either get used to the fact that at your size and at your weight, that you are going to start having more and more embarrassing encounters with the EMTs or paramedics or whatever you want to call them, where they will, find you in various states of dress or undress, with embarrassing injuries and embarrassing poses. It's going to be embarrassing, as well as extremely painful. And if you sincerely make $10,000 to $11,000 a month, as you like to brag, and as every YouTuber points out, since you aren't going out and doing your massive Walmart hauls and your massive hauls of fast food, that money has to be accumulating, right? So why not remodel the bathroom? If you're renting and you explain it to your landlord and it's something that will improve the property, I'm sure they wouldn't say no. You can get a walk-in shower with a door that just swings open instead of sliding doors. Hell, get one of those, well, you might not fit. I was going to say, get one of those bathtubs that they show for elderly people so that they don't trip and fall, that they can just step in and sit down and take a shower and bath all in one there. But, I mean, I need one of those. Although I doubt Medicaid or Medicare would pay for it, but I only get like, $1,100 a month, maybe not 11,000. So I just I've washed my hair since a week ago Friday. So go ahead and make fun of me for that. I plan on having a caregiver do it Sunday night, because I have a doctor's appointment Monday about this UTI that won't seem to go away, or at least the pain won't go away, even though I don't feel sick. So maybe some other injury has been done, and instead of doing what I would like to do, just stay in bed, I gotta go to the doctor. It's embarrassing. So that's what I struggle with. I mean, I know some of my former caregivers, when they see me say, oh, I take a bed bath every day, they might call bullshit on that, because it used to be like once a week. But really, we've switched things up to a way that makes me feel more comfortable, where it's my back and lower extremities we wash every day in bed, and we use HibaCleanse cleanser, because I mentioned the boils that come with being fat and sweaty, and you get an ingrown hair follicle and it gets infected, and boom, you get a boil, and you can't reach anything because you're fat. Seriously, I don't know how she really washes all of everything that she needs to wash, because she claims she only takes 3-minute showers because it hurts her leg to stand. Although she's also said that her leg doesn't hurt when she stands. See, this is a contradiction. Can I get Oh yeah, washing all of
washing
her
it.
folds and everywhere. You know, she claims in other videos she takes 3-minute showers because it hurts her leg to stand. And she claimed when she went to the doctor's office that since the chairs were all too small for her wide behind, she had to stand for 15 minutes waiting for her appointment. But then when her doctor said, oh, no, you don't have a blood clot or anything like that in your leg, it's poor circulation because you don't get up and move your leg around enough. She said, well, that makes sense, you know, because my leg does not hurt when I stand and walk because the blood is circulating. It hurts when I'm sitting or laying down all the time. Yeah, she'll, you know, almost in the same breath say, it hurts so bad to stand for 15 minutes in the waiting room and then walk through all the corridors to the doctor's examination room. And she'll say she takes super fast showers that can't be thorough because it hurts to stand in the shower. And yeah, I would think standing in the shower with hot water pouring on her leg would make it feel better, whatever's wrong with it. Hip bursitis or poor circulation or whatever. So and she's still complaining about her leg hurting. This is even before I discovered her myself. This is like last December, maybe, or November. I think it's December when she had the doctor's appointment. She was so worried she had a blood clot. And then the doctor said, no, it's lack of circulation. But then she said she was going to get a second opinion. And she talked about it being a pulled muscle from the way she has to twist and bend to get into the car and out of the car. But now it's, you know, so much later, and she still complains about it hurting. Yet she won't get out of bed hardly, and she uses the scooters at Walmart. What is it? Girl, what is it? Does it hurt when you walk or not? You know, this is part of what's so frustrating. You can't. It's so hard to untangle the web that she weaves. If I say something that contradicts itself, call me out on it. I might have to sit and think. You know, some things, I'm 20 years older almost than Amber, okay? So I've got a lot more memories and stories to tell. When I say stories, I mean like life experiences. I don't mean like what a tangled web we weave once we practice to deceive. So I guess that's it. Really, that's the end of it. I was talking about bed baths. Yeah, my back and my extremities get washed and rubbed down with lotion and back balm and things like that to try and prevent bed sores in the morning. And then, you know, once I get to the wheelchair, the rest of my torso and whatever else gets washed. And you know, that's a thing from another video when she addresses the question of going to the bathroom. Someone asked, does Becky help her wipe? And she says, no, I can do it myself. I start to wonder how clean she gets. I mean, Chantal, Foodie Beauty, or Foodie Booty, whichever you prefer to call her, she's admitted that she can't get herself clean, and when she's been intimate with gentlemen callers that they've picked toilet paper and dingleberries out of her butt crack. I mean, I am shocked she admitted that. I'm not shocked that AmberLynn would not admit that, even if it turns out to be true. Insert Simpsons clip here.
I wash myself with a rag on a stick. Ew.
That almost feels like my life, except I do have caregivers. But yeah, the thing is, AmberLynn said that she wouldn't want help like that from Becky because that would take all of the romance out of their relationship. But my husband has had to help me in a lot of very embarrassing, very humiliating situations. And it's not romantic, but I think it shows, though. I hope it shows the depth of love and commitment. You know, if the relationship is like, you want me to do what? Sorry, I'm out of here. You know, yeah, I don't know how much love there was to begin with, but my husband knew I was disabled, and that things were only gonna go down the hill when we got married, health-wise. But he's been here for me. It may not be the same thing as candles and chocolates and flowers, but I think it's love, because he doesn't get paid like the caregivers do, but he's still here. It's over 21 years now we've been married, and he's still here. So that's where I'm gonna end this now, okay?